What's up, Care Factor Nation? This is Rich Malachy here for season 1, episode 4 of the Care Factor podcast, and I am here with a very special guest all the way from Canada, and his name is Jarett. Jarett, why don't you introduce yourself to the Care Factor Nation?
Hey guys, my name is Jarett Storle. I'm a guy that's up in northern Canada, which is I guess if anybody knows where Edmonton is, I'm about 4.5 to 5 hours north, and we got our first snowfall today of about a couple of inches.
No
So
way.
we're well into winter.
Wow.
I run a company up here that just a new startup about back in December of last year, and it's called Fire Protect Services. Started off with thinking I was going to do some fire protection, and then I moved more into the kitchen repair end of it. So in other words, commercial kitchens. Kind of a love for fixing everything over the years, right?
Mhm.
I've been in and out of the business for the past 23 years. Been doing different things for maintenance. I started cooking at 17 years old on the line, and then just went up from there. I've done camp and catering for the past 23 years in maintenance, looking after 12,000 beds a day across 3 provinces in the
Wow.
last 7 years. So taking a step away from the big business to start my own is where I'm at. So
Yeah, so you said your startup, you started just about a year ago now.
yeah, about a year ago with my
Okay.
company. Yeah.
And how many, is it just you or do you have anybody else with you?
Right now, it's built enough that I can keep myself out of trouble, and then I'm going to slowly build. I'm dealing with more with sub-agent status and everything else with a lot of the bigger companies, the LDIs, the Russell Hendricks, and a bunch of the other guys that are actually, the bigger guys, the key
Yeah.
foods guys, right?
Okay.
You know,
Sure.
those guys there. I work with some of those guys as well. So
Okay. Yeah. So what when you got started in this business, what's kind of the goal here? I mean, because you're obviously you're a young guy, you're looking to get your own business. What's the big goal in this industry for you?
the big goal is to give quality service and care at a a reasonable rate and not cost burn our clients. Our clients have been so cost burnt over the past year just because of it's we're so far north of everything. It's hard for them to get that quick, efficient. Everybody's a 12-hour turnaround on travel for just a simple repair.
Oh wow.
So that's kind of where I seen the niche, the opening for me to step in there. And there's only one other competitor up in this area. Grand Prairie itself is 60 almost 70,000 people, but the area we service is over 400,000.
Okay.
So
So
it needed somebody here to help out with some of that stuff. So
yeah. So you're doing fire protection. What does that entail? Because I'm not too
well,
keen.
in our kitchens, we have the hoods and we have the suppression systems in the hoods.
Yeah.
I look after design, install, as well as the recertification every 6 months is required by NFPA.
Okay.
And then I can also do fire extinguishers, and I've got companies that back the cleaning end of it too. So
Okay. And of course you've added the commercial cooking into it. You're repairing griddles and fryers and steamers and all that stuff.
anything I can get my hands on or anything that's broken at this point in time, I love it. It's just it's the best thing in the world because it keeps your brain thinking about it all. And that's where this is perfect.
Yeah. And so me and you have kind of through media kind of talked about maintenance and stuff like that. I know you're a big proponent for maintenance, as am I. Um, if we're talking to the end user restaurant right now, your customer, what do you want them to know about how important maintenance is?
Well, I've helped with some big companies and everything else developed a maintenance program from a zero standpoint where there was no maintenance, and the cost standpoint from a reactive maintenance side is so expensive. It can be anywhere from 4%, 4 times the amount to a 10 or 50 times the amount if something breaks down on your guys' line, which in the same factor breaks down all the rest of it. If they have one critical piece down, they can't perform half the stuff they should be. They have to think around it, and it's twice as long on the production lines.
Yeah.
So for them, maintenance would be the keyest thing. If we can go in there and make sure that this doesn't fail at the predetermined rate, it's going to be better for all of us because it's going to be, well, I'll do this now before you ever have a downtime. And then the same thing is it'll be way better for all of us that it's cleaner. It's in a more effective time for them, not right in the middle of the service.
Yeah, and that's, talk. I always talk about maintenance to our customers. We're constantly having meetings with our technicians to try to relay this information to our end user customer, because, like you said, reactive service calls can be very costly, and and I always want to try to be on the up and up every time. This is, maintenance is not gonna get rid of all reactive calls. It's not true. It's just
No.
not possible. Parts are gonna fail, but if we're on the upswing and we're checking the stuff out on a quarterly basis. We're cleaning coils, we're checking voltages, we're checking door gaskets, and all these things that can maybe, forecast what's coming. We can start, the process of saying, hey, let's repair this gasket now so your compressor doesn't work overtime. Let's start doing certain little things like that.
You bet.
Yeah.
And like I say, everybody changes their oil at 5,000 kilometers or however many thousand miles.
Yep.
Though it's no different. You're changing that. You're changing your air filter. If it's air restriction, you're not going to get the airflow. You're not going to get fuel economy. Everything's going to start breaking down if you don't look after that. So how is a piece of critical equipment any different?
Yeah, I mean, it's true. And, these they're investing so much money into these ovens and steamers and grills, 20, 30, 40, 50,000, and it's like you said, same with the car or with the doctor for us. I mean, we go to the doctor to get tests and stuff. We have, because we don't want our parts to fail inside of us, right? So, yeah, I mean, it's just true. So, I'm pretty big out here trying to bring the skilled trades of our area of the skilled trades to light. Food equipment service and stuff. We're talking right now. Right now, me and you, we're talking to the next generation of techs. What are you telling these guys or girls?
Yeah, it's trades is an excellent thing. I started off in life working as a journeyman carpenter. I got my apprenticeship at a young age, and then I worked through and got my journeyman status. That was more of a background pass just to make sure, because I was always doing maintenance. It's always something to always fall back onto, right? But I never had to put out the expense of school like somebody else would. School is very expensive if you have to go into it for a 10-month period or 3 years or 10 years. Whereas with an apprenticeship or the trades related stuff, you have a very short window of time, but you can't learn everything from books. You can't. Books are about that much. The rest of the world is, well, let's just take the screen out here. It's that much.
It's true.
And up here in Alberta, we have a program. It's an appliance service repair, and we have the residential side, and they just recently, in the last probably 5 years, did one for the commercial side of things. So they actually have an apprenticeship program that was put together by a local company here, LDI, and the guy was talking to the owner of it yesterday, to tell you the truth, and he was saying that he was one of the ones that helped with the build of the whole apprenticeship program. It's an amazing program, right? And you could probably attest. I don't know if there's anything just as much for your guys' side, or is it more on the bigger trades, the gas, the electrical, everything else? I don't know if there's the individual trading like we have.
I mean, there's trade schools over here. Is that what you're talking about? Trade schools in
general?
Yeah. I mean, we have there's ones over here. Lincoln Technical is a big one, and yeah, I mean, there's a lot of HVAC stuff going on there, and nothing really geared towards the food equipment side or the commercial dishwashing side. So, it's you do have to find a company like ours at this point to get on board with and get hands-on training and have us send you down to Cefesa for the trainings, new technician trainings and manufacturer training. So there is talk about in the halls here about putting together a digital training module here. Not necessarily that's gonna teach somebody everything they need to know, but it's kind of like we're looking at it as a first stepping stone to having some kind of background before you get started. It's going to give you knowledge on on parts and what they do, minor knowledge on gas and steam and electric and stuff like just minor stuff. So when they get to a van to train, they've already got something. Sometimes you put someone on a van green, they don't know anything about anything. We're hoping that's going to kind of bridge that gap.
Yeah, and we've I've been really good. I always push the trades. When the younger people, my nephews and stuff, they drive me nuts all the time. They're on one's 17, one's 14, but I pushed the one, and he's already going into a trade. He's doing something. He said electrician. He wants to do eventually. He's in his senior year right now, so he's thinking about the next steps. And it's excellent to see. Like his dad's an instrumentation tech and all this other stuff. So the trades is an excellent way for everybody to get the money you need for training, the the experience you need for the trade, experience you need for the job, and the secondly is it's one heck of a way to learn. I enjoyed it. I still enjoy it. I learn every day, even though I don't have a guy telling me. I'm learning more and more every day. Every time I touch something, it's the same thing, and you never stop. But this is an excellent, push towards it also.
It is. I mean, we just did a segment yesterday where I was in Newark, New Jersey, by Rutgers University, and we stopped only a few kids, college kids in their 20s, maybe early 20s, to see if they even heard of the food equipment service industry. And of the 4 people, all 4 said no. They had no idea anything about it.
Yeah.
So, the more we talk about it, that's why we got to talk about it as much as we can, put it on all of our platforms, continue to connect, engage, and build it, because, as well as I do that, it's becoming, it's going to become harder and harder to find people to come and fix these things. And
it already is
busy.
It's already hard to find anybody to fix these things. And so you see a lot of the customers that I've got now and clients, they've got 4 people coming in to do jobs, and when they could have one company. And that's where they're starting to realize with me, it's kind of a one-stop shop. If I can't do it, I'll find the next contractor work with me to help get to that point. So then they don't have to call 4 people. And that's kind of what we're all looking for, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's for us right now. We're a small business here in Jersey, and I have 13 technicians, and I definitely could use 23 or 24 with the load we have. And I mean, I got 2 guys we hired from the high school. They, college wasn't going to be for them, so they've been on a van now since pretty much July.
Perfect.
And they're doing well. I got them in HVAC school, and we're picking up the tuition for that, and hoping maybe next year this time they're going to be ready to go. So.
Yeah, I built a few journeyman trades guys, electricians, gas fitters, plumbers, carpenters, and even HVAC guys. I built through the last company I was working with. I was the guy that pushed to make sure these guys could get all that stuff, and because it's important. It's really important to have that stuff, and we're never going to get our the stuff is getting more and more technical, and if you don't have a technical feed background, it's going to get harder and harder to understand.
Yeah, and that's one of the things too I want to talk about, especially with the 2 young guys we have. Technology is going to take over the kitchens. It really is. I mean, the touchscreens, Wi-Fi, and data. I mean, that's what it's all going to come down to for business owners. I think going forward, everyone wants data. It's a data-driven world. You could be sitting in your house and changing menus for the day on your ovens and different things. I mean, and for the service calls too. And we're going to get to know updates about things that are going down before anybody knows it. Blower motors on the way out. We can show up with the part now.
You've already got the part en route before you get there, so you know exactly what it is. So each piece is going to be identified. Up here, we're still dealing with the old school stuff. The more and more, it's just the old school mechanical. I'm starting to push the rationale into things. The rationales, the convotherms, all the stuff you see, all the steam generated, all the computerized stuff. I'm starting to push it more and more to a lot of these people. The ones that are already starting to get it is the A&Ws and all those guys. They're starting to see all this stuff, and it's the rest of the world that's not, right? But it takes a while for them to understand it. I've got a big client that I deal with, and they got one they use for shows. They bring them in. They bring the rationale comes in and does all their training and all their live cooking demonstrations right at this venue.
Yeah, nice.
It's perfect.
Yeah. So. In our industry, obviously, we have some different associations. You're familiar? Obviously, you're familiar with CEFESA.
I am, yeah.
Okay, are you a part of it? I know we talked about it recently.
No, I haven't been yet. Just because of the sheer cost of it and the new startup. So I'm still working towards, a lot of them. Right now I'm on the fire side of them, members and all that stuff, as well as I've been talking more and more. I've been doing this 23 years. I've never had a certification, so I'm starting to go towards that to see those, and I have to. There's no way around it. And, it just takes some time building the funds towards it. Like, CEFESA is a big cost, big cost.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you could, and I don't know all the exact prices, but putting the cost aside just for the conversation here, because we did talk about how to, and this is geared towards maybe someone out there that's listening about service companies and how we work together and build relationships and everything, you got to look at what does that price get you. There's a cost for everything in life. But if you are a service company, especially if you're a startup and you really want to be connected to the food equipment service world, you're going to go there and you're going to see all the guys or girls that matter. And building these relationships take time. It's going to take years to develop all this stuff. You got dinners and conferences and meetings and all kinds of stuff. And going to NAFM. I don't know. Are you going down to NAFM?
I've heard. I'm not heading down to anything quite yet, but yeah, all those different ones I've been in. I've been researching for years with the previous company I was with, and of course they didn't want to do any of those things because cost benefit, and they didn't think it was worth it. To me, I think it's worth it, and eventually that's where I'm going to be probably a member of each one of these things. It's the only way that I can guarantee that I'm up to date on everything.
Yeah, that and again, for your growth as a company, the relationship thing is the be all end all, if you ask me. That's my opinion. So Sofesa, definitely something to look into. And again, I know there's monetary things that you have to look at for your business, but I would put that on your list definitely. And also to go to NAFM, because it's every other year. Right now, this year it's down in Orlando. We're going to be down there, and it's great because you get to walk into all these booths and talk with the national service managers, and give them your card, and you're talking to them, and you're building you got some FaceTime, and you're building, and then one day, 6 months after that NAFM show, someone reaches out to you, hey, you're in Canada, we need some help over here in this area, can you help? And this is just how it happens. It just happens that way. So,
yeah, definitely.
So, and on another note, we're talking a lot here about the food equipment digital disruption. I put a group together on Facebook, which you're obviously in. And we're looking to really build awareness for the industry because there's not too much going on in our industry on the media end. Although I do see a lot more happening all of a sudden at nowhere. So.
It's working. What the first things that you started to do are working really well because it's giving everybody that boost to say, oh, by the way, hey, Rich is doing that. Hey, we should maybe add on to that. Hey, Rich is doing this. Let's just tag into it. You're kind of I was bugging one of the marketing guys I know, and I said, if you want to see somebody that posts more than you, I said, try just look after Rich. He'll show you.
Yeah, I mean that's what it is, and that's what we're trying to promote. It's all about consistency and just getting stuff out there, keep posting every single day and engaging. That's what it's all about. And I often get asked, what's the point? What's the point? Or what's the return on the investment and all this stuff? Because when you start doing stuff like this, people want to see instantly like what is social. It's I tell you, it's a relationship. You're building relationships online, basically.
Yeah.
And you don't become best friends with one post with somebody. It's like you go out, you're hanging out with them. This is like it's time. So in 3 to 5 years, things start to happen when you're consistent.
Well, yeah, like and just to be exact on that, is you and myself, we started talking. I don't know, what is it, almost 6-8 months ago, probably back. Just started with that. Hey, look what this guy's doing, and all of a sudden we just struck up that conversation. And it went further and further. We started adding, balancing things, and you can see some of the consistency to that. And it's actually, I can see more people asking for, hey, can I make a connection with you? My connections on LinkedIn have probably doubled in the last year. My connections on even all the other stuff is starting to see the same thing.
Yeah.
And that's because the consistency, like you say, if you're consistent posting or adding these things or saying things or at least, pushing some of the driver factors up, it's gonna come up.
Yeah, and opportunities are going to arise from what you're doing because as long as you're being genuine and authentic and you're bringing the person watching or whether it's video, audio, written, whatever it is, as long as you're bringing value to them, they're going to want to follow you. They're going to want to see what you're doing next, and that's the relationship builder right there. And then other people are going to see it, and all of a sudden you're going to get messages. Hey, Rich, can you cover? We're a manufacturer of so and so. Can you cover New Jersey for us? Hey. I mean, I've had many opportunities arise this year, and I've been blown away by it, honestly, because in years past, I wasn't really a big supporter of media, to be honest. This is kind of recent for me.
Good. Well, it's done you well, and that's Where, like you said, I see you got Rationale and Duke, and then you start seeing those other ones coming into play, and those are big players. So it takes a long time to build their trust and a long time to build the confidence for them to actually say phone you back. But if you can hit them constantly and they're seeing you doing things, you're going the right direction.
Yeah, thank you. But so let's talk a little bit more about your company. So you guys in Canada, 24/7, I'm sure.
Oh, yes.
You're 24/7. Is there any specific? I'm not familiar with Canada. Is there any kind of specific licenses or anything you guys need to operate?
Just insurance. You have to have enough insurance to cover all your stuff in case of, for if something happens. But I have more than adequate coverage because of the fire protection side of it. So that's the only thing that's kind of the saving grace on it is I cover more than I should, but it's and then usually it's they want to see some type of guess how it is you have to have the knowledge base, and because of the years of experience, the knowledge base, and I'm working with the apprenticeship board to actually make sure that the knowledge base is actually recognized for me. Because right now, because of me being a carpenter for so many years, I had to fix it. You got no choice. You're out in the middle of nowhere. Most of the stuff I've worked on is 5 to 7 hours in the bush away from where I am, and so they trust me to understand how to fix it. And that's where the trust factors came back down to that these guys here in town are trusting me to look after that too. So as long as you're not touching the complete service side, so the electrical side, you can touch it from the outlet into the machine, and then from the gas line into the machine, you can touch. So you can't do the actual mechanical stuff or the actual full stuff on the back side, but everything else is trusted on it. So
yeah, same here. I was just curious if there's anything different that Canada requires, or so we're EPA certified for to reclaim refrigerants and stuff like that.
Yeah, you'd have to be. I'm not EPA certified, but I'm going to end up adding on the HVAC pieces so that I have that EPA certification, and I have a guy that can go fix the cold side of things. I'm a controls guy. I've always been a controls guy. I can go into any controls and repair anything. Same with any type of gas or controls on any type of stuff. It's just a mechanical know-how. But it'll be nice to have that extra safety net behind you, right? And that's where I'm looking at. So
nice. Yeah, and so some of your clients, I don't got to name the actual clients, but are you in schools, or where's a lot of your
a lot of my stuff is actually straight restaurants at this point in time. There's the big franchise restaurants up here that I work with. There's one local one they've got 5 locations in Grand Prairie alone, as well as they've got more stuff that comes up. I've been talking to some of the bigger chains, trying to get those guys into here too. But there's always big restaurants, and then there's a lot of owners that own stuff across Canada. Mm-hmm. So they've got the one lady I'm dealing with. She's got 4 locations around here, but she's got 11 across Canada. So those ones there could be bigger longer term. But right now, she says I can look after the local stuff. So, and that's where the start is. But there's lots of opportunity. It's just getting in that constant push and getting in behind them and talking to them and driving and not stopping until they I'll let you fix this and see how you do. And that's where I'm at still. Is there's still a lot of guys saying, "Well, just hold on a second."
Yeah.
It's not. The patience, hustle, the grinding, all that stuff has to come into play, and you have to kind of keep on going every day. Just keep on hitting it until somebody says, "Okay, let's give you a shot."
Yeah, you're right. You have to keep at it. Don't be discouraged. But so So talking more about in here, excuse me, in here we're talking a lot about scheduling, and we're so busy and everything like that. And then I feel like there's often a perception. I don't know if you get calls sometimes, where they say, "Hey, can you just run here? Can you just go do this? Can you just come and install that?" And it's almost like, it's almost like people may think that we have vans idling on the curb, like waiting for these calls to come in sometimes. And I don't know what kind of call load you're running on a daily basis. For us, I know I like to break down the perception of what service companies are actually doing on a daily basis, and how every call is different, and you anticipate this call is going to take this much time, and all of a sudden your tech is there for this much time, and then all these calls are like, well, we have to either push them out somewhere else, or they're going to have to go back tomorrow, and you don't want to piss people off, but there's so many factors that come into play every day. I don't know what you're saying for your
Right now, because it's I'm still trying to drive everything with these people. Is I still have the time on mine to jump into a a 1 hour call later on a day and just go see what it is, or run in. Okay, well, I'm kind of busy doing this, but I'm on my way here. Let me stop here while I'm going through. They've got the perception that one call. Okay, well, he'll look at it real quick anyway. It's going to come down to the point where what, there's not going to be a time where I'm going to look at it today. It's going to be tomorrow, and but we've always been able to schedule things, even with my previous employer. I was the guy that built the schedules and understood how the schedules run. It takes a lot. It takes a lot. It's the perception is it's broken. I need it fixed. Well, yeah, you're not going to get it fixed today, not necessarily, but we're going to try. And that's where it is. If we got 20 calls ahead of you that were emergent, you're going to have to wait till tomorrow. If we got calls, what is it? Okay, well, can you live with it? Well, yeah, we're okay. We can live it along till tomorrow. Perfect. And then they're really easy going. A lot of the clients I have right now, and that there's a couple of them that are just perfectly great on it. Oh yeah, if you get to it next week, we'll deal with it. We're good.
That helps when you have someone like that. I mean, I don't know. Here in Jersey, I don't want to say and I'm a Jersey guy, but
yeah.
I don't want to say that we're rude and angry, but we can down here in Jersey we could be that way. We don't want to hear about tomorrow. A lot of customers don't want to hear it. It's rough sometimes.
It is, but that's the nature of the beast. The service has always been that something breaks, you got to fix it. If it takes time getting parts, it takes time getting parts. Some stuff is easy fixed with all I needed was that one half-inch screw to run back into it so it doesn't leak, or one little bolt or something just so it doesn't rattle for today. Those things there are great, but I'm trying most parts. I'm saying it's a 1 day fix. On average, sometimes it'll be a 3 day fix, depending on where if I have to order special or something from across the country or in the States. And they understand that. They're pretty even going on that. A lot of people. There's the one-offs that I need a fix today. What am I supposed to do without an ice machine? Well, maybe if you maintained it for a couple of years before I got here, you'd have an ice machine tonight. But right now, you don't. Where's the part? Oh, it's 4 days out because it's coming from Orlando. Well, why is it coming? Because that's the only place to produce the part. Sorry, guys.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's not easy. Definitely not easy running a service board.
No.
Everybody wants it yesterday, and and then we're sitting here today for us again as a company as we're growing. We're starting to put together level 1, level 2, level 3 kind of customers, and the key accounts right now are beginning to take precedence. I mean, I'm at a point where for us, we're telling, if you're not a key account, unfortunately, there's a 2 to 3 week lead time right now for me to get to somebody outside that realm. Yeah, I mean, because we've been picking up some national chains, and we're doing 20 of these and 46 of these, and we do a store like we do like something like 7-Eleven here, where they have a lot of Turbo Chefs, and they have 155 stores that we handle, and they have about anywhere from 2 to 6 or 8 Turbo Chefs in every location. So we're in those locations every single day. So yeah, it's been tough. We need techs. The name of the game.
And that's exactly where it is. Text you, like that's who you see on all the posts. What's your biggest hurdle? No guys, and no training.
Yeah, we have this much work and this many techs.
Yeah,
it's wild, but I'm hoping to continue to build and put all this out there and attract the next generation, attract the youth to understand that this is such a lucrative career for someone. It's it's a 6-figure income when you get in and you learn. And of course, these kids might hear 6-figure income. Oh, well, we're not talking about in your first year. These kids got to understand this is a hustle. This is a grind. Like you said, it's work. You got to train. You got to learn. All of a sudden, 5 years from now, you're a really good tech, and it's like, damn, I'm making 80, 90, 100,000 a year. It's possible. You just gotta want it. That's what it is.
Yeah, the drive and the hustle has to be there, and I've seen guys, and that's where I put guys through trades, because I've seen the drive from the guys. I see a local company here, electric company that he started as a first-year apprentice electrician with me years ago. He walked through his whole apprenticeship and with me, the previous company, and now he's been working for 3 years himself with on his own company, and his company is phenomenal here in town. Yeah. And that's where you see that's the type of people we need more and more of. And so you know, me, my next step is if I'm going to be looking for something, I'd rather train somebody to do what I'm doing.
Yeah,
I'd rather have them know what I know because at least I know I can trust them to do the job.
exactly. Do it the right way.
Yeah.
So Jarett, let me ask you. Let's talk a little bit about family. Your family married?
I've been married 15 years. I've been with my wife for 20. I've got two girls that actually turn in 2 weeks. I got twin girls that turn 10 years old.
Oh
So I
wow.
got two of them. They're hiding downstairs someplace right now because they're supposed to go for dentist appointments in an hour. But they're, yeah. But I've got all my family lives here. My wife was born and raised in Grand Prairie. I was born in pretty much. I've been here 30 years since 1989. So you know, this is home. Grand Prairie's home. My mom's still here. My in-laws are still here. There's grandmother, grandparents all around, everything else. So there's lots of family.
Lots of family. That's a good thing. So what's their are they big supporters of what you want to do and everything in the trades game?
Always was, yeah, yeah. My biggest supporter was always my mother. My mother was the one that pushed me. She said, if you're not going to go to school, you go do some trade stuff. And she said, I want you to get a trade so at least you have something to fall back on. You know, Dad said, well, you can go to the oil patch and do all your stuff. I said, well, I'll do that for a bit just to get some money in my pocket, and then I'm going back to the trade stuff. So,
yeah.
But no, we did. I worked with my parents. My parents ran a camp and catering company, and then Mom took it over, and she ran it, and I ran it with her. And she retired probably 10 years more earlier than most people. She was 52 years old when she retired.
Wow, nice.
So she sold her company and retired, and she's been living happily. She goes back and forth. She's in Arizona right now, I'll tell you the truth. So,
oh yeah.
Yeah, she snowboards it every year. Her and her husband. So
nice. Do you ever make it to the U.S.?
Every once in a while, we make a trip down there. You know, it's getting to be just there's so much going on with me right now, and then my wife runs her own business, so she's got her own stuff, and I got my own stuff. So the two of us have to figure out the family time to get down to the States again. So
Have you ever been to New York City?
no.
No. Okay. All right. We got to get you over here.
Yeah, well, my wife, that's one on her bucket list, and my mother-in-law's bucket list is she wants to go check out New York. So.
Nice. Well, when you get over here, I'm 15 minutes outside of Manhattan, so if you ever get over, we could me and my team could take you guys out for sure.
Perfect. Well, you need locals to find all the right spots because you know what, find them on your own, reading, flipping through a book is now we've done always the easiest thing. So yeah, definitely.
When I was younger, because we were so close, we used to run into the city all the time. That's where we would hang out on the weekends.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was cool. So we'll close this. We're gonna close this episode out. Any last words for, again, I'm pushing this big time for the next generation. Tell these guys and gals. Tell them what's the best part maybe about being in this industry for you.
The best part about being in this industry is actually the people you work with and around. There's so many characters in those kitchens and those restaurants. Those people are amazing. They walk in there, and I don't think I have ever walked into any kitchen and I have, even when they're in the worst possible situation because of a breakdown, they still got smiles on their face and they're telling you exactly, they're laughing and carrying on with you. And they're not grumpy, they're not nothing, all these guys, and that's great. And that's, that's the thing that makes you want to go back in there and makes you want to, what else you guys got? Come on, break something today so I can come back tomorrow.
Exactly.
So, but also the opportunity to learn and to be a part of that is going to be one that's big for everyone. Anyone in the younger ages, take a step out of high school, step right into something, and if you can get something you love as well as we do, that's the only way to be. Yeah. I love what I do. I've always loved making sure things stay running. Taking that blender apart of Mom's at 5 years old, she'd be that sort of stuff. That drive has been there since before I could even lift a screwdriver off the ground.
It's the pride, that you're getting something up. And I said, we had a meeting not too long ago, a company meeting. We're talking about, I said, I know we're not saving lives, right? Or we're not doing that, but we are saving people's livelihoods, and we're saving people's businesses, and we're, it's not just about the equipment, that's, so it really, it is all about the people. So, if you love helping people, man, I mean, that's, aside from the pay and everything else that comes with it, that's the reward. I mean, you get to help people get back to business.
Yeah, I could have never been a doctor because that never worked, but I can do surgery on a machine anytime.
Either. I'm with you. So, all right, cool. Well, Jarett, I appreciate you taking some time with me to talk today. I am going to close out the care factor Season 1, Episode 4. I appreciate you guys being here with me. Don't forget to go follow on YouTube, Maliki TV. We'll see you next time.